Salutations. Let me start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Today is December 24th, 2022. It is Christmas Eve, so let me start by saying Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. We'll be talking about stock symbol MMTLP, or what used to be stock symbol MMTLP and has become NextBridge Hydrocarbons. So let me give a quick overview. So I have not made too many videos lately because usually I am the voice of reason. We do not need reason at this point in time. We need, what's the word? We need protests and we need outrage, actually. So this what has happened with Finra needs to be, it needs to be propagated to the news media. Everyone needs to know about what's happening and what has happened, and Finra fraud, etc. But I will still provide information as to what's going on and what I think is needed. So if you care to watch, great. If you don't care to watch, it's okay too. I'm all for outrage because outrage is called for in the day. What has happened is incredibly wrong and incredibly, should not have happened, of course. We will be going over this. Primarily, I talk about stock or what used to be stock symbol MMTLP. If you're not familiar with this, you're pretty late to the game. But you can check out my previous videos. There's MMTLP, the Finra fraud fiasco continues on Monday. That was some time ago that video came out, but it is on my homepage of Market Moves with Tony. Look for that particular video. This is let me see if I can find a mouse. This is a video to check out. This will give you an idea of what happened with Finra and why there is a need for outrage at this point in time. Furthermore, there's this part over here. If you want to know the general story of MMTLP, what happened, the story of all the oil in the ground, the story of what's where, what this situation is all about, check out the story is coming to a close. That took place a while back, but it gives you a good overview of everything that's going on. But I will not be going over everything that's going on because if you came to this video unaware, check out those two things. You have homework. If you do know what's going on, I'm going to move forward. So since my last video, we saw a question by Brda. He says, great question. I was under the impression that TD was not lending out shares. At least that is what they've been telling others. And he's responding to a tweet by MMTLP Matters, who said, so tell me how the shorts can close their positions when this isn't tradable. Up until yesterday, I was receiving interest on shares stock that were lent out. Today, they're gone. WTF is going on with TD Ameritrade. Give us our shares and our money. Okay, and he's got two image attachments here, and here they are. And if you look, there's a daily interest that's being accrued, okay? And that daily interest is, was something. There's a substantial number of shares here, and these shares were being lent out, okay? It also says do not sell, which is kind of interesting. So, can't sell those. Good. So, the interest rates were quite high also, and suddenly something stopped. So, let's look at the timeline, because the timeline is kind of important at this point in time. So, NextBridge Hydrocarbons first announced their spin out as a private company on July 15th, 2022. That is a long time ago, 6 months ago. So, Finra and anyone else cannot really claim that they were caught unawares, because the first S1 filing happened in July 15th, 6 months ago or so, almost, okay? Almost 6 months ago. On November 18th, the S1, after multiple filings, finally became effective. Again, that doesn't even fit on my calendar right now. So on November 18th, the S1 became effective. On the 23rd and the 25th, which is the day before and the day after Thanksgiving in the United States, the 44B was released. The 44B includes the dates, the exact dates for the date of record and the date of distribution. Okay, that's important because now the plan was that there would be private shares issued to all shareholders of stock symbol MMTLP. And that was to be the 12th, was to be the date of record, and the 14th is the date of distribution. Okay. December 8th was the last day that you could actually buy shares of MMTLP and have them settled by the 12th, in which case you could actually have these private company shares at the date of record and continue forward, right, if you held on till the date of distribution. However, Finra became the Grinch who stole Christmas, and they called a halt to trading on December 9th, okay? Finra was both the Grinch who, well, we don't know if Finra is the Grinch who stole Christmas because the Grinch had a happy ending. They're closer to Scrooge, to Ebenezer Scrooge prior to his change of heart. In either case, Finra is the bad guy, and they halted trading on December 9th, okay? And we suspect they halted trading for nefarious reasons because there is no reason to be unawares of anything. All of this information was available since July 15th of 2022. Nothing should be unexpected at that point in time. All the documentation was filed a long time ago, okay? Anyway, so they called a halt to trading on December 9th, and we have been halted ever since. Today is the 24th of December. Merry Christmas Eve, by the way. If I have not said Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas Eve. And there are 3 days left until we get the distribution being complete. Now, in the S1 filing, it says that the distribution date is the 14th. That is when shares of Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, the private company, non-tradable stock, this is private non-tradable shares, would be available and would be distributed out to shareholders of stock symbol MMTLP. We have heard, or I have heard, that shares have become have started down the distribution path. As of Friday, some shareholders who have registered their shares directly with AST, American Stock Transfer, this is the transfer agent, some have started receiving shares. So I strongly suspect this to be true. I do not know that anyone who has actually held shares as a beneficial owner in a brokerage firm, such as myself, all my shares are beneficial in a brokerage firm. We have not received any shares as far as I know. Now, this means that the brokerages have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to distribute these shares to be in compliance with the S1. The S1 says that, hey, you've got 2 weeks to deliver all these shares. Where are the shares? They have 3 days. The distribution should be complete by 3 days. And it says in the S1, if the distribution is not complete, contact your broker because something nefarious is likely. Well, contact your broker, okay? Contact your broker. Your broker should have these shares in hand by then. So, towards that end, big shout out and thanks to Rosa Twill. Rosa Twill has filed a grievance in federal court. She's filed for an injunction along with a TRO, temporary restraining order, to Finra, and she has damages. We all have damages, of course. She has actually gone live with Houston Wade. Check out her video, her interview with Houston Wade. She went live last night. And if she wins, she can turn back time. Basically, that means that the shorts will be forced to close their position because you cannot be short a private company. We'll see what the federal court judge has to say in Florida. Things are still up in the air about that, but so far it looks pretty good. She's filed with the court. She has gotten feedback from the court about filings which need to be done, and she has actually served papers to Finra. Now, Finra has in various branch offices declared themselves, tried to close the branch offices so no one could serve papers or whatever. I don't know what, but in either case, she has served papers and papers have been served. But Finra tries to run away from this. This probably means they don't want to appear in court, and they probably don't want to appear for discovery. Discovery would be very good to do. We should find out exactly what is going on with Finra. We've already discovered that Finra, the board members of Finra, appear to have some, They appear to have some relationships, or they appear to be directly related to certain short market makers who are short large amounts of stock of Nexbridge Hydro. They appear to be short large amounts of stock symbol MMTLP, and they call stock symbol MMTLP to be trading. So we see this tweet from Never Die. Never Die basically says, "Hey, look, they're starting to see some Nexbridge hydrocarbon shares in their account. Great. This means that again, you can check out the rest of these tweets. It's really interesting. But if you have registered your shares, it looks like people are starting to get some of those shares in their AST accounts. I have not registered my shares. I am owed shares, and the majority of people who have shares of MMTLP are owed. We are owed Nexbridge hydrocarbon shares by our broker. This is a brokerage problem, okay? And and so there's some tweets going on about that. Try to put them in some semblance of order. Most people have their shares, of course, in Fidelity in a brokerage account, not necessarily Fidelity. But because people are starting to get their shares, this is quite interesting. There are some questions coming up. Has the DTCC been trying to prevent AST from distributing shares? That should not happen because Nexbridge Hydrocarbons has nothing to do with the DTCC. Those Nexbridge Hydrocarbon shares are not tradable via DTCC. There's no CUSIP number. It is not intended to be traded. It is a private company and should be outside the bounds of jurisdiction of the DTCC. But who knows? They seem to be getting their fingers into places where it shouldn't be. In either case, I saw that I got a text from a friend of mine, and you know who you are if you sent me the text. Anyway, he informed me about the fact that Fidelity has this post on Reddit, which is quite intriguing. Basically, Fidelity has been saying that, hello all, we received a number of inquiries regarding the recent corporate action for this security and wanted to share what we currently know, blah, 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 blah. So basically he says, basically by the third paragraph or so, actually by the third paragraph they say, typically in a spin-off scenario, which is what MetaMaterials initially announced, the original security would remain and the new security, in this case Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, would be issued. In this particular instance, MetaMaterials has decided that upon issuance of the Nexbridge Hydrocarbon shares, MMTLP was deleted. In addition, the Nexbridge Hydrocarbon shares will be issued in physical form, meaning that actual physical certificates are being produced for this event, which takes longer for the agents to process. I do not know about that. As far as I know, AST is still holding all these shares. Okay, and AST will issue a statement of record to people who have directly registered with AST, but they are still holding the shares. So I do not know that stock certificates have to be sent out. In either case, this is what Fidelity is saying. While holders await physical certificates, a placeholder CUSIP has been established pending the receipt and exiting of physical certificate from the DTCC. So So Fidelity is saying certificates will be held at Fidelity in street name, which means the name that appears on the certificate is that of the broker. But the person who pays for the securities retains ownership rights. Based upon what we currently know, the issuer has decided not to make Nexbridge DTC eligible. That's correct, because the DTC does a net settlement, which means there can be large short positions within a broker, and the whole idea is that a private company cannot have shorts against it. So I do not know that it should be possible to take a private company and make it public. In either case, this means that shares of Nexbridge Hydrocarbons will not be eligible for DRS transfer. However, if this remains the case, shareholders may still register their shares in their name by making a transfer and ship request. Please note a fee may apply. What else is there? As noted, we will update this thread in case anything occurs. So basically, what they're trying to say is that they will be holding certificates. Anything else there? No? Okay. Basically, they will be holding stock certificates is what they're trying to say. But I believe that they will be holding a statement of record with AST, and AST will be holding these stock certificates. So I don't know that these certificates actually need to be printed. But anyway, Fidelity is saying, this is the newest information from Fidelity, so just keep that in mind. And this is on Reddit, by the way. So with that, the main thing I have to say is that it is Christmas Eve. Time is running out. I actually think we're in decent shape here. I think we have the Rosa Twill situation where she is filed in a federal court of law. If that takes place, and if she is successful, then we're all winners in this, and that's terrific. Then stock symbol MMTLP will start trading again, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? In either case, whether or not her court case is successful, there is the issue of NextBridge Hydrocarbons, right, which is a private company which cannot be shorted. Brokerages owe these shares to us, and they need to obtain those shares, right? And once they have the shares, we have the right to directly register those shares with AST to prove that those shares are real, right? For all we know, I mean, if I can't directly register my shares, then that is a problem to me because I can't ascertain the veracity of those shares, right? So I would like to directly register my shares afterwards, okay? And that's where we stand. If there are large short positions, and I strongly believe there are, and I strongly believe this is why the U3 halt happened in order to protect short interests. In that case, if that is the case, then those short shares need to be reconciled, which means they need to either, the shorts need to be closed out of their position. But the main thing is not that the shorts need to be closed out. I don't really care about the shorts being closed out of their position right now. What I care about is that everyone who bought an MMTLP share has the right to obtain a share of this private company called NextBridge Hydrocarbons. That is what was stated in the S1. The company did nothing wrong about that. The company did everything right. It is up to the brokers to have closed their positions with the shorts to allow that to happen. The brokers did not do that, I believe. And that might have been with the assistance of Finra, for all we know. There's something very sketchy there. And as a result, what I care about is making sure every single person who is a shareholder deserves a share of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. If that means brokers have to go to NextBridge Hydrocarbons and beg them to issue some additional shares, and NextBridge Hydrocarbons may sell those shares to brokers at whatever price they decide is appropriate, then that's what needs to happen. And brokers need to buy it in order to make sure that every single person has access to NextBridge Hydrocarbon shares, because that is what they are owed. Okay, brokers need to make due on their payment. Now they can charge the shorts for this payment if needed, but I don't really care how they do it. They need to do it, okay? Because this is a debt. If they are unable to do this, this is tantamount to fraud, is the way I look at it, right? I bought shares, or I asked my broker to buy real shares. If they're buying fake shares, if they're buying things which don't exist, and they cannot, make due on their payment, that is, that's a really bad situation. And their brokerage license should be looked at for major, to be removed or suspended, right? So if that is the case, there are a lot of brokers who stand to, have issues with their license, whether it's a suspension or whether their license needs to be, looked at, because you can't be going around doing this to shareholders, 64,000 shareholders. Anyway, this was a quick update, and I believe this will resolve itself in a positive way for us shareholders. I am a shareholder. I have hope, and I believe that this will resolve itself in a positive way. If it does not, that indicates that the entire U.S. stock market could be considered corrupt, and I suspect that large people may take their money out of the stock market, because if it is the case that once you start to win at the stock market, that Finra has to come in and say, no, you can't do that. No, you're not allowed to win. You people are actually, you are the people who are supposed to lose. The game is rigged. No. That's something that indicates that the game is rigged if someone says that, right? And if the game is rigged, everyone goes home. The stock market collapses. And that's what's being held at stake here, right? I mean, this news needs to go out to everybody. So again, I'm usually the voice of reason, so I did not make some videos for a while. But we need outrage at this point. I think outrage is appropriate at this point in time. I think brokers need to fulfill their obligations. It looks like their obligations may be going out to next year, according to certain brokerage firms, which expect to have shares available next year. Interestingly enough, I saw some rumors that some certain brokerages are attempting to make shares of NextBridge Hydrocarbons tradable, and that is also inappropriate because NextBridge Hydrocarbons is a private company. You should not make shares of a private company tradable. You cannot force a private company to become a public company. That is inappropriate in several different ways. They cannot be forced to make filings that that would be inappropriate for them because they are a private company. They may have 64,000 shareholders, but they are still a private company and should not be traded at that point via DTCC, and DTCC should not be involved. Finra also, I don't know if they should be involved in a private company. So there is not a lot that can be said there. Anyway, I wish for success to Rosa Twill and her lawsuit, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas because it's Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to everyone. We're going out of focus here. I wish Merry Christmas to everyone and to all a good night. I will make a video after Christmas, but on Christmas Day, of course, I will not have a video for you. Good night. Goodbye. And I almost forgot. This is my closing statement. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm also not a legal advisor. This is not legal advice. Again, this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Goodbye.